thinking back, if I was starting my journey again as a parent of children with mental health problems, the piece of advice that I wish that I had been given of someone was that no matter how strong or capable you think you are, and that you kind of want to keep what's happening to yourself and handle it alone and just kind of be very insular about it, it is one of the loneliest journeys, the loneliest places to be. And you have to surround yourself with people who are going through the same journey, because then you realise that it's nowhere near as terrifying as you think it is. And it's just a part of normal life, and it just because it isn't spoken about a lot, especially with children, I think, because I sometimes think that parents feel that they may be responsible or it's something that they've done wrong, and they've got this really complex feeling of guilt or sometimes shame, I think, like what is wrong with my child? Why is this happening? And I think my message to particularly to strong individuals, people who think, well, I'm capable, I'm confident, I can deal with this. You can't deal with it alone, and you shouldn't. You should access support groups or just even other mums with maybe even children with special educational needs, just other parents of extraordinary children. And if you just have those people to touch base with a little bit, it normalises your whole situation. It removes the element of panic from you. It doesn't make it any easier what you're dealing with, but it kind of removes the element of panic, I think. And that would be my one piece of advice, if I had to give one, to parents who are starting a journey with trying to protect and recover their children's mental health. It would be, don't even attempt to do it alone. And not necessarily with other professionals, just your peers, other parents who are going through the same thing. I think that's really important.
We thought we were capable. We have experience with youngsters, with difficult teenagers. My daughter's in mental health, and we've had a really tough journey, and we felt a failure. And it's only now we're beginning to realise that we're actually not a failure. We're just trying to do the best we can in a very difficult situation. And the only people that have helped us really is our friends, because they understand what we're going through. And I personally have had to give myself a good talking to and say, come on, you're a clever, intelligent person and you're not a failure. Just because your young person is going through a very difficult and very challenging time, you've just got to be there to keep them propped up and hope that they'll come through it. And I've had my own children, and dealing with your own children, but then dealing with foster children or a child that's not your own is very difficult. But they still go through the same emotions, and you still go through the same emotions, and that worry and that concern for that young person is the same as if it was your own child. And you just want to protect them and guide them and support them. But they just want to be normal. They just want to be normal like their own friends. And I would say my message to anybody out there is that through your difficult times, remember you're not a failure, you're doing an amazing job, amazing.
And you said there about your job is to prop them up, that you're going through a journey of helping them. They've got to go through their own journey of getting through the episode that they're going through, and for you to be able to prop them up. That's why it's vital. Like, your self-care is the key to their mental health if you're going to be able to help them through it. And it sounds like it's flipped on its head, like it's really selfish that you have to be at the top of your pile, look after yourself first, so that you are able to do what you need to do with your child or with the young person that you're caring for. And that goes against our grain, I think, as parents and
Totally.
caregivers.
Yeah.
You used to just being at the bottom of the pile, but it's vital. That's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned through making myself poorly, you know, by just running myself ragged, trying to keep my 3 children afloat. And now that I realise that the loneliness was the hardest part.
Oh, totally.
I always say this, it's just health. It's health. That one word, mental, in front of it scares people, and people have a perception, and it creates a stigma instantly. Oh, mental health. It's just health. It's like someone's got diabetes or epilepsy. No, people don't really have much of a stigma about that. So I think it's kind of be kind to yourself. Realise that your mental health and your physical well-being is paramount to your child's mental health.
My elder daughter used to call me the sinking tree. She said, "Mum, you're the sinking tree. You're trying to prop everybody up, but what about you?" And I thought that, and that's when I stopped to take notice and take time out for myself, for my mental health and well-being. And I might have just walked the dogs, just time to ground myself, because if you don't, things get out of proportion and you maybe overreact to a situation that you would normally have dealt with very differently had you had your level head on. So I agree totally. You need to able to step back from a situation and just take 5. Just take 5. Be yourself and just get your thoughts together and don't become that sinking tree.
I think that's good as well, to show the young people that we care for that we can do that as well, and that, you know, we're not experts at this. We're going through that journey with them, and we mightn't always get it right, and we need that time, like you say, 5 minutes. And if they can see us doing that, they're more likely to take that on board and do it themselves. So it's, you know, it's not just their journey, it's not just our journey. We're doing it all together, and we're helping each other. And if they can mimic what we're doing, well, that's a positive thing.
One of the things that we've recently started doing, we have like pictures for the children, and they can put them on the fridge when they need some time out alone in their bedrooms. But now we've got pictures for myself and my husband, so that we can put ours on. But we've only just started doing this in the last month, and I've used mine, and because we've got older teenagers, they do respect that. So I put my picture on, went to my bedroom, had some time of just lying on my bed without anybody bothering us, and that's something that you don't normally get, and you feel guilty because you know you've got your children outside that door struggling, but you can't help them if you're not in the right frame of mind. So you just need that time just to breathe.
I think everyone can look back and you'll be able to lose count of the situations where, if you minute by minute go through the whole scenario and realise that it was your reaction that triggered something massive, that wouldn't have happened if you were mentally in the place where you could therapeutically parent your way through it. And it's sometimes it's a human response, isn't it? It's so difficult, but just little rests at music. I find blasting music or driving to the petrol station and back in the car with music blasting and singing along to it, because when you're singing you can't really be angry as well. I've learned that, and then come back, and then I'm able to kind of be calm again, and because they'll learn from you as well. How are they meant to value their self-care or realise that it's so important to their mental health if they see us trashing ourselves and not taking care of ourselves and not putting any importance on our, downtime and having time for ourselves? I think, and they mimic us. So if we run ourselves into the ground, they will do exactly the same.
I think I went to a support group when I was struggling. Well, both girls have separate issues, and I joined a roller coaster support group, and it was through There was a lot of parents of children who were having tragic times, and that helped so much, because sometimes you came away and you thought, well, actually my position's not as bad as theirs.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're quite strong, you're quite lucky, because some people had some such tragic stories, and yet you were all there united, and the stories were very different, from self-harm to suicidal teenagers, but you all had one thing in common, and you had a cup of tea and a bit of chocolate with somebody who also was crying out for help, and that was fantastic.